this diversification is what I think about in a lot of these captives that we write. So for example, if we wanted to write California property risk specifically to cover wildfire, we can't just put it in a portfolio with other California property risk on the same street. We need to find other risks to diversify those risks. So within a captive, the business owner might say, well, shoot, I only have one building and it's on the same street. It's on the one street, right? So we can diversify that by writing cyber coverage, and we can diversify that by writing commercial auto and workers' compensation and legal expense or employment liability, right? You can add a bunch of other risks to the risk so that they hopefully don't all behave poorly at the same time. And unfortunately, it can still happen that way. You can still have some correlated risk within your portfolio. Maybe when houses burn down in California, maybe that's when Russia decides to do a bunch more cyber attacks on California residents because they're all logging in from weird places. And so there could be correlation, but if you can reasonably reduce correlation by putting risks together that don't normally walk in lockstep, then you get a bunch of diversification benefit. Now that maybe they can't really diversify quite enough because they're not a big enough enterprise. They're not Disney or Coca-Cola, and they can't diversify across all their industries within their own captive. Then they can buy reinsurance. They can say, well, I'll just take the first 500,000 of each of my claims, but the other 500,000 will be covered by somebody else. And so that reinsurance is what all insurance companies use to diversify their risks. It's just insurance for insurance companies.
Yeah, and that's how they diversify it. I remember you and I were working on a large property portfolio, and you said, well, is it all in the same place or is it spread out? He's like, oh, no, it's $300 million in properties, but it's spread out all throughout Miami-Dade County. You're like, no, you're not getting it. That's still a thing. He's like, well, what if I put my dad and my brother-in-law's properties in it? My dad has the same amount of properties in Puerto Rico and the other guy's in Houston. And you're like, yeah, no, that just made the whole thing a lot worse because it's all in, if there's a hurricane that comes through, it could hit Puerto Rico and it could hit Miami. And then we've seen him go to Houston versus if he had portfolio in, I don't know, Denver, Colorado.
Right. That same storm is very unlikely to hit Denver after hitting Puerto Rico and Miami and Houston.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's where we always have to get into having those discussions. But yeah, if they don't have enough risk themselves, reinsurance is always a great option to make sure that their risk is diversified.